Law. 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Isolation offers the illusion of safety, but it makes you an easy target by cutting off valuable information and allies. The more disconnected you are, the less aware you become of threats, making your downfall inevitable. Strength is found in social connection, where protection comes from alliances and influence rather than walls and solitude. Transgression of the law. Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China, was a formidable conqueror who unified multiple kingdoms. However, as his fear of enemies grew, he withdrew from public life, living in extreme isolation within a secretive palace. He moved in shadows, executed anyone who saw him, and ultimately died alone, hidden from the world. This example illustrates that isolation does not ensure security. It breeds paranoia, weakens control, and makes one vulnerable. By cutting himself off from people, the emperor lost his grip on power, leaving his ministers to rule in his place. His death remained unnoticed, proving that detachment leads to irrelevance and eventual destruction. Observance of the law. Louis XIV of France built the Palace of Versailles as a grand stage where he surrounded himself with nobles, officials, and attendants. The daily rituals in the palace revolved around him, ensuring he maintained control over his court. Nobles competed for his attention, making it impossible for them to conspire against him. This example illustrates that power thrives on constant interaction. By keeping the nobility engaged in palace life, Louis XIV prevented rebellion, controlled information, and remained aware of everything happening in his realm. Visibility, not isolation, made his rule secure, proving that influence grows through presence, not detachment. Keys to power. A fortress may seem like protection, but it isolates you, making you a target. Instead of safeguarding power, it traps leaders, cutting them off from allies, fresh intelligence, and flexibility. True power requires openness, where movement and adaptability prevent enemies from gaining the upper hand. Humans are inherently social, and power depends on interaction. Those who retreat out of fear become weak, paranoid, and lose influence. To maintain strength, one must remain in the center of activity, forming alliances, gathering knowledge, and preventing isolation from turning into irrelevance. Historical figures like Cicero and Talleyrand thrived by mastering social navigation. By building vast networks and staying informed through various connections, they ensured survival through every political upheaval. Isolation is the downfall of rulers, but engagement ensures adaptability and longevity. Artists and thinkers also suffer from isolation. Pontormo, obsessed with secrecy, locked himself away to paint his masterpiece, only to lose all sense of proportion. His work became a chaotic mess, proving that separation from others leads to distorted perspectives and a lack of clarity. Power requires movement, much like a vast palace with interconnected rooms. Those who remain in circulation gain protection from betrayal, access to information, and the ability to shape events. Isolation invites rebellion, while presence ensures influence remains intact. The world rewards sociability. A ruler who disappears into solitude invites discontent and plots. The more accessible and engaged one is, the more power remains in their hands. Like Louis XIV at Versailles, positioning oneself at the center of attention secures control, ensuring that nothing happens without their knowledge. Reversal of the law. Isolation can provide clarity when used sparingly, offering space to think and gain perspective. However, prolonged solitude breeds detachment from reality, making it difficult to reintegrate into society. While temporary withdrawal can sharpen the mind, excessive isolation creates delusions, disconnecting one from the world and making a return to power nearly impossible.